absolutely not acceptable to even consider the calories because that's such an unhealthy way to look at food. All I was worried about was the food quality, and basically everything else was a free-for-all. That didn't work for me.
Without you, and I couldn't really make you stay, so what to do? I'm just staring at my walls and talking to myself now and then. I'll try to laugh, but I'll cry a bit as well. I was never any good at being away from you. I met you in the summer when you left, it was cold. I've been going crazy without you. I'm so alone. I met you
Good morning, guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am out of breath. I'm just getting back from the gym. We did an upper body session, and then we finished off with some assault bike sprints. I've been trying to incorporate more sprint intervals into my weekly workouts, and today was one of those days. I honestly might need to take a minute, but I did jump off the bike super quickly. I did my weights, did my assault bike sprints, jumped off the bike, came back here immediately, and I'm gonna get outside to go for about a half an hour walk. It's 8 o'clock now. Typically I like to be wrapped up my little morning routine and workout by 8 a.m., but I wanna get out. Oh my God, I need to chill for a second. Okay. Anyways, I wanted to get outside to go for my walk today just because I find starting the day outside with fresh air is game-changing to my mental health, and it just makes me feel accomplished heading into my day, starting my day. I'm gonna get bundled up because it's still a little bit cold out. Oh my goodness, and I'm also just remembering that I have an eyebrow appointment in about an hour and a half. So that's exciting because I definitely need those bad boys done. Definitely gonna take a quick half an hour walk. Usually I like to book an appointment in the afternoon just so I can get my computer work done in the morning. Whoa. Be productive. I'm such a morning productive girly. I'm not productive afternoon, honestly. So I usually try and get all my work done in the morning and then do my appointments in the afternoon, but my eyebrows take 15-20 minutes. Let's go get our steps in, and then that actually leads me into kind of what I want to talk about today, which is my 4-step formula for body recomp. And one of those steps is getting your steps in. One of those steps is getting your steps in? Yeah, that works. One way I like to do that is to start off the morning with a bang and get those steps in as early as I can. So let's get her done.
4.
Brows are done. This whole brow thing is very new to me. I would say just in the last 6 months, maybe not even, I started getting my brows done. I do get them quite a bit darker than where I actually would normally take them to, but they fade over the next few days. So they're dark, they're bold, they're contrasting with my roots quite well. I'm getting my hair done tomorrow, so those roots will also be fixed. But yeah, brows is a very new element into my little beauty routine. Having them filled in and not having to do them every day. One of those, oh God, what did they say? The high maintenance things I do to stay low maintenance on a daily basis. Kind of like that. More importantly, I don't know what is in the cosmos this year right now, but I feel like we are collectively in a locking in era. And you know what? I'm here for it. I'm plugged in. I'm subscribed. I'm also being affected by whatever is in the cosmos. I feel like I was just kind of, I don't know, not feeling that great in my body lately, and the new year hit and I was like, you know what? Yeah, it is time to lock in. Let's do this, but let's do this properly. And if you're here watching this and you're into health and wellness, then maybe you are also ready to lock in. So where it actually started for me is, unless you're living under a rock, I feel like we have been inundated lately with the recommendation to eat more protein. So that's where it all started for me. And I was like, you know what? I don't know how much protein I'm eating per day. So why don't we just start tracking it, clocking it, seeing where I'm falling? Long story short, I was not even getting 100 grams of protein per day, which was not good. Not where we want to be for our goals. From that protein experiment, it like snowballed into a whole body recomp rabbit hole. I started listening to more podcasts, do more research, and I was like, hey, protein obviously, allegedly, seemingly, is a non-negotiable. I'm on board with that. What else do we need to do to achieve the most effective body recomp, which means building or maintaining muscle and losing body fat simultaneously or at the same time? So I feel pretty confident that I have cracked the code on the 4 most fundamental but effective steps that you need to, oh, that sun is getting bright, that are non-negotiables for your body recomp journey. These are the 4 main drivers that are going to move the needle the most. They're ones that you literally pretty much can't get around, can't get away with doing without. And I've just made it into a 4-part formula. So anytime I'm trying to make a change, the only way my brain works is through systems and step-by-step processes and frameworks and formulas. I boiled it down into a 4-part formula, but I also intentionally boiled it down into daily habits. So it's essentially 4 daily habits that you're hitting that will lead you to the most effective body recomp. I've been practicing these 4 steps for the last few months now, and I have seen more changes in my body than I have ever seen in my life by doing any other diet protocols or challenges or any other attempts to achieve some sort of change in my body, whether that's like losing fat or building muscle or whatever. These 4 steps have gotten me way further in the last few months than anything else. I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so much stronger. I'm feeling leaner. I'm feeling better in my body. So I'm excited to continue this 4-part formula into, I don't know, in the next few weeks, months. I feel like they're also habits that, like, even though if I have like a start and an end date, at that end date, I'm not just gonna like stop everything I'm doing and completely go back to the way I was operating before. I feel like they're very now integrated into my lifestyle, and maybe I'll have a little bit more flexibility with my nutrition, but at the end of it, I still feel like all these 4 things I'm still going to continue doing. It's just maybe I'll, not track my intake as aggressively as I am right now. With that being said, let's get into breaking down the 4-part formula for your body recomp. So number 1, this was massive for me, and it is a calorie deficit. I'm somebody who has a holistic nutrition background, which means I'm very well versed on nutrition, but more so through the lens of micronutrients. And I know what all the macronutrients are, but I always viewed food as micronutrients and food quality over quantity. And as long as it was healthy food, then the idea of acknowledging that it had calories was kind of frowned upon. And I was like brainwashed to think that that was like absolutely not acceptable to even consider the calories, because that's such an unhealthy way to look at food. All I was worried about was the food quality, and basically everything else was a free-for-all. That didn't work for me. I do deeply, deeply believe in food quality, but then I also just started to acknowledge, okay, well, sometimes to reach goals in your body composition, either losing fat or building muscle, it is empowering to know how much you are fueling your body with. And just because you are acknowledging the caloric intake or caloric expenditure throughout your day, that doesn't mean that you are unhealthy, or that doesn't mean that you are fostering an unhealthy relationship with your body and food. It can actually be quite empowering, and I feel way better knowing what I'm actually intaking on a daily basis and being able to like adjust that and play around with it and figure out what works best for my body and what feels best for my body. So with that being said, calorie deficit would be the number one pillar, number one step on this 4-part formula. So you have to be in a calorie deficit. I have fine-tuned a way to get into this calorie deficit that feels very easy, feels very healthy, and that is hugely tied to step number 2, which is increasing your protein intake. Actually, just to go back for a second, the calorie deficit is the foundation. Without a calorie deficit, your body will not be able to tap into its stored energy reserves, aka its stored fat, to burn from. And like I alluded to earlier, you can eat healthy, but if you are eating too much energy for what your body needs, you will not lose fat. So a calorie deficit, no matter what type of diet protocol or diet label you're using, a calorie deficit is, at the end of the day, the number one thing that drives fat loss. So to get into how to make this easy, and another really important part of the 4-step formula is to increase your protein intake. So right now I'm eating about over 1 pound, no, that's a lie, over 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you're new to increasing your protein intake, I would suggest you aim for the 1 gram per pound of body weight. For the other girlies who work off kgs, that's 2.2 grams per kg body weight. That is a really good baseline to start at. And this is really important because protein intake is going to help you feel full. It's going to help you feel satiated. It's also going to help you build and stimulate new muscle, helping you recover after your workouts. And some studies have shown that like even if you increase your overall caloric intake and have more protein, that you actually, the calories that you intake from protein won't lead to more fat gain. So I really like to increase my protein because then I offset some of my calories that would be otherwise coming from carbs and fats, and that's what helps me get into a calorie deficit more easily. It's just increasing my overall protein, plus we're getting all the benefits of the protein helping you build and stimulate new muscle. And if you're like me, then you're also going for that lean, defined look. Like I want to look athletic, I want to look strong, but I also want to be lean. I don't want to just be like smaller. So in theory, you could reduce your calories and get into a caloric deficit, but if you don't increase your protein intake, then you will essentially just become a smaller version of yourself, and it might not be the look that you're going for. So if you want to look strong and you want a little bit of muscle definition, you want to look defined and athletic, then increasing that protein intake is the key to unlock the look that you're going for if you want that. Please hold for a commercial break. Music to my ears. This is a new flavor that I have been trying lately, and honestly, Dream Float, creamsicle vibe, can't go wrong. I am trying to also cut back on my caffeine a little bit. Obviously not today, we're gonna worry about that a different day, but if you're not trying to cut back on your caffeine, these have been my favorite lately. Cheers. Also, to roll off of that lean, defined, muscle definition look, that leads us to step number 3 in the 4-part formula, and that is progressive overload. We are lifting weights. We're doing it almost every day. I do it 5 days a week. Progressive overload is essential. So this whole 4-part formula, I like to look at it in 2 different categories or 2 different camps. There's the build camp, building muscle, or there's the burn camp, burning fat. So you usually, one thing isn't gonna hit like both of those at the same time. You know what I mean? Like they'll indirectly play with each other, but for the most part, one action is going to lead to like building muscle. A different action is going to lead to more of the burning fat. So I would say the protein intake and your progressive overload is more in the build category. So this is helping us build muscle. So when you're going to the gym and you're lifting weights, you're not going there to like burn fat. That's a mindset shift that have been flipping lately, and it's really been helping me, of just going to the gym, having that mentality of like, okay, how strong can I get today? How much can I build my muscle today? I'm not trying to burn calories. I am trying to lift heavy. Progressive overload means that you are taking a weight and you are lifting that safely with good form almost until failure. So usually I'm aiming for about 1 to 2 reps shy of failure, or depending on the movement, I'm going straight to failure. If it's safe for me to do so, like bicep curls, like I'll take those bad boys to failure because the potential of me getting an injury from going that close to failure is really low. But for something that's more of a larger movement or a compound movement, I don't know, let's say like squats, bringing those to failure is then you're more into the injury prone zone. So typically for those, you're good at like 1 to 2 reps before failure. But the goal here is still to like lift heavy. I think a lot of us girls, we can lift a lot heavier than we give ourselves credit for. So something that I like to do is actually aim for about that 8 rep mark, because I find if I go for 10, I'm throughout that set, I'm keeping a little bit in reserve just so that I can get to that 10 rep mark. But if I only have to go to about 8, then I go heavier, because I'm like, you know what? I don't have to get to 10. I only have to get to 8. And that's been helping me get close to failure. Progressive overload is very different than just going through the motions of being at the gym and lifting weight. Progressive overload will actually help stimulate your muscle. This is how you're going to shape your body and get that lean defined look. And it's really important that you push yourself and you don't stay at the same weights for longer than you need. I highly recommend you find a program that takes you through a 6-week cycle and that pushes you and encourages you to lift heavier throughout that cycle. Like I said, this is more in the building category, so it's going to help us build our muscle, but also indirectly, because the two camps still kind of play together, the more muscle that we build, the more we're able to like utilize our carbs that we ingest, that we take in. And let's say if we overeat on carbs, the more muscle that we have, the more our body can like absorb those carbs, and it has like a place to store it. The more muscle that you have, it's kind of like a sink to, or like another analogy is like a suitcase to store those carbs that you ingest. So building muscle is hugely important to building muscle, but also it helps having space in our body for that energy to not be stored as fat. And the last step to this 4-part formula, which you saw me mention earlier this morning, is daily steps. Setting that 10K threshold daily helps me form the habit of, getting outside more, which is amazing. And this is honestly the most underrated step that you can do to change your body recomposition. A little fun fact that helped me understand how important this is you're walking, your 10,000 steps is gonna burn more calories than you will by spending an hour at the gym. And it helps us get into a fat oxidation mode, which means burning fat. I would bet that a lot of people these days just like aren't loving cardio. So going for 1 or 2 walks per day for me was a little bit mentally more manageable than the thought of like going for a hard cardio session. So I would just start my day like I did today with a walk in the morning, and then I usually try and bookend my day with also another walk. I get for sure 10,000 steps, if not sometimes, depending on how long I walk for, I get up to 15,000 steps. So that is the full 4-part formula broken down into a daily habit structure that will help propel you towards body recomposition in the most effective way. I would say anything beyond these 4 steps, let's say like protein timing or carb timing, or whether you should eat more fat or more carbs, like anything beyond that is going to be more nuanced and more of like a fine tuning, whereas these 4 steps are more of your foundation, and anything else, unless you're doing these 4 steps, anything else above that doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter whether you're doing high carb or whether you're doing keto. It doesn't matter whether you're eating your carbs right after workout. It doesn't matter whether you're getting your protein within 30 minutes of waking up. Like those fine tuning details won't make as much of a difference as just hitting these 4 steps every single day. Anything that I'm trying to change, I actually like suck at consistency. Like I'm actually really bad at staying consistent with things. It has to be in a daily habit formula for me to like integrate it into my day and actually do it repetitively enough and do it consistently enough in order to get the benefit from that action. So I don't know if you're like me and you struggle with consistency as well, but if you do, then this is a really amazing approach to help you finally get consistent and help you see the change. And I think our bodies are also such powerful portals and powerful windows into the highest and best version of ourselves. I'm all about trying to be the best version of myself that I can be, and when I'm feeling really crappy about my body, I just feel like it's hard to access that part of me, that higher version of myself that I want to be and I want to live my life as. And when I use my body as a tool to help me feel strong and confident and honestly like not weighed down, like mentally, when you're not feeling confident in your body, I think that you just don't engage with life in the same way as you would if you're feeling strong. And if that also coincides with a goal of you wanting to look lean, you can also have aesthetic goals too with your body. That is totally okay. I am here to support that. I'm also here for you to create a healthy relationship with your body. So I hope that 4-part formula helps you. Let's get ready. We're gonna go to a little coffee shop, get some work done. I've been working from home a lot and not being productive whatsoever. I made a little shift last week to start to go out to the coffee shops more. It has been very helpful so far.
She's calling me, like the rainbow. She's calling me, like the rainbow, the rainbow.
I am just out getting my evening walk-in before dinner. It is so nice. I had like about 2,000 steps to get in for the rest of the day, and I'm halfway through my walk right now and I'm at 12,000 steps. So we will definitely, well, we've already hit the 10K steps, which the more the merrier. Like I said earlier, I just love getting outside for my overall mental health, and it's a nice way to bookend your day. I just wanted to say, if you do have a goal of body recomposition, if you want to lose fat, if you want to build muscle, if you are sitting there and you're not feeling super confident in your body and you do have aesthetic goals, but you also have goals to just feel more athletic, feel stronger, feel more energetic, then I hope you try this 4-step formula. I promise I've done a lot of research on it, and these are the biggest drivers that will make the most difference. So just focus on these 4 things. Don't get lost in everything else. Try it for 4 weeks. I'm pretty confident that you will start to notice some really exciting changes in your body. And if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you are just as obsessed with health, wellness, and just living as your highest self, then subscribe and we can be better together. Bye.